Hello. Hello, remarkable women. So let's just see who's going to be able to come on, and I'm hoping that my internet connection is going to be reliable. Hi, Gwen. So we have Gwen here. It's good to see you. Well, it's good to see your name. So hopefully you are having a great week and you are enjoying this mild weather here in North Carolina. So let's see if anyone else is going to be able to join us live. And as I always say, if you can't join us live, it's okay. You can always come and watch it later. Watch the replay. Gwen, I feel very rested. I feel very rested. My cruise was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And as you know, we did a 4-day cruise. So we actually cruised to the Bahamas, and it was so much better than I ever imagined. And we had a great time. The food was awesome, but it just felt good to be able to really rest and, relax. But while I feel like I have been enjoying that kind of lifestyle for the last 2 years, the whole lifestyle of dialing back and simplifying my life and learning how to rest, it was great for me to see my husband rest, and he didn't do any work, and anyone who knows him knows that he is constantly moving and he's constantly working. So for him to rest, it was really great. So we are official cruisers and looking forward to my next one. So how are things on your end? Well, Gwen, it looks like it just might end up being just you and I. I want to be sensitive to our time. And you know what I forgot to do? I forgot, let's see. Well, I don't know what would happen if I invite. No, it says invite Gwen to be a guest. Your attorney? Not the attorney that's working with your current situation. Is that who you're referring to? And how old was your attorney? And had your attorney been sick? Oh, wow. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I'm sure that's very unsettling for you, and because it's like having to start the process over again with someone different. Wow. How old was your attorney? She was only 58. Now I'm telling you, that's so sobering, because in 2 weeks I'll be 57, and so yeah, that's sobering. That is so very sobering. And she had not been sick. That's painful. Again, I am so sorry, and I'm sure that there are no words that can bring real comfort for you or her family, other than to know that I am praying, and that we are praying for you as a community. We are praying for you. Well, I'm so glad that you're here. And so, who knows, maybe the other women are napping, and that's why they're not able to be here. But we're going to go ahead and get started, because I don't want to keep you long. And I was thinking just about this whole topic. I put a question in our group, and I asked the question, why do you think it is difficult for us as women to rest? Why is it difficult for us to just, take a nap? What are your thoughts? I know it's really hard with Facebook Live because you're trying to listen, and then if you have to type in the chat, you're trying to type your answers in all at the same time. So while you're thinking about that, I'm just going to kind of share some names with you. Aristotle, Albert Einstein, the late former President John F. Kennedy, Ronald Reagan, Dwight Eisenhower, Leonardo da Vinci, Margaret Thatcher, Winston Churchill, Jesus. What do you think all of those people have in common? Any thoughts? What do you think they all could possibly have in common? I'm so proud of you that you're taking your naps whenever you can. That is so good. And you're right, because as women, we are natural nurturers, and we are always busy taking care of everyone else. And we totally forget to take care of ourselves. So you know the illustration that we always use, that when you're on the airlines, then the first thing that they say is put the oxygen mask on yourself. Because it's important for you to save yourself in order for you to save someone else. And so learning how to rest, I think, and I feel like I've been able to see this experientially, that it really does help you to, one, learn how to take care of yourself so that you can be a nurturer and a life giver and care for others. And you're absolutely right that what all of those individuals have in common is that they all knew how to get the proper rest. And they all were known for taking naps. And we know history proves, and history speaks for itself, they all accomplished some amazing things in their own right. And so when John F. Kennedy, I found it fascinating that he would take naps 1 to 2 hours a day. He would take naps 1 to 2 hours a day. He and Jacqueline Kennedy. And so when we look at our current administration, I'm not trying to throw any speak ill or throw any shade, but part of the problem I think with President Trump's inability sometimes to think before he reacts is because he's a man who is not very well rested. And so I think that it's difficult when you don't really rest well. It's hard for you to really, sometimes I think you're more likely to either say something or do something without thinking it through. So, but when you think about the importance of rest, and absolutely, we are notorious for not taking care of ourselves, and we end up running out of steam. I love your comment, and that we're just not even able to care for others, and especially not well. And so we find ourselves, when we aren't doing that, when we aren't taking care of ourselves, we are less productive. We are less efficient. I think we are not as patient. We're not as gracious. We're not, 9 times out of 10, we're not as kind or sympathetic. And we also can't really deliver or render up our best work. And it's all because of not being able to really rest and take care of ourselves. So I was thinking, even with Jesus, we know that Matthew 4:38, where here he is, actually it's Mark 4:38. So here Jesus is in the boat, and the storm comes up. And even in the midst of the storm, Jesus takes a nap. Jesus goes to sleep. So for me, I think that's a really big lesson for us. That even in the midst of the storms in our lives, even in the midst of the high seas, the raging seas, and the waves that come, in and out and that are high and low, that when we learn how to rest, when we learn how to dial it back, when we learn how to just pause and even take a nap, it will bring this level of calm in our lives. And so in order to do that, it takes, one, being intentional. It takes being purposeful. My husband and I have been talking about that a lot this week, and how in so many ways, there's some things that we took for granted and when we were much younger. And one of the things is how intentional you have to be about every single aspect of your life. And it's not just being intentional at one time, but consistently being intentional. So I think the same thing is true with us with rest. And so that just as Jesus modeled it exceptionally well, then if he could rest and if he could stop and take a nap, all the more reasons for us to be able to take a nap. Now, sometimes I think that part of the reasons that we don't is because we end up feeling like, well, if I rest, then I won't be able to sleep at nighttime. Or we feel like that we are missing out and we have to get it all done. But God has wired us, and he has developed our brains so that there are certain things that our brain needs in order for it to really function optimally. And sleep happens to be one of those things. Sleep really is a gift to us from God. And sleep does a lot of wonderful and beneficial things for just our brain and for our functioning, and allowing us to be even more productive. So, the research also shows, I think it's, let me make sure, I want to make sure I'm quoting it right. I think it might be 1 out of 4. Yeah, 1 in 3 Americans, American adults aren't getting the rest that they need. That's a lot. So that means that 9 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, the people that you and I are engaging with on a day-to-day basis, they're not well rested. The people that you work with, the people that you go to church with, the people that you encounter in the grocery store, especially when people are short, or they are always in a hurry, or they are half delivering when it comes to a level of excellence. And a lot of times it's because you can't function. Physiologically, it's just not possible for you to function and produce your best work if you've not rested well. And you're right, sometimes we do feel guilty. We feel guilty if we take a nap, and we feel like that if we do, then people are going to think we're lazy, they're going to think we're unproductive. But do you know that the research is now showing that you're far more productive when you do take a nap? Now, I feel like I have learned this personally in these last 2 years, because I habitually take a nap throughout the day. And I'm learning how to simplify my life, learning how to scale back, I'm learning how to dial it back so that I can invite this ease into my life. I can invite this calm into my life, and also so that I can produce my best works. And I'm like you, I have totally gotten over it. So when my body gets tired, then I have learned how to just put my feet up. And I'm going to talk about this in a little bit, just some things that you can do practically so that you can get a good nap. And here's the thing, it's not about the quantity of time, it's about the quality of sleep. So it's not about how much sleep you get, especially when you're taking a nap. Now, as adults, we really should have anywhere from 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. So, but with your nap, your nap is just like a little short interlude. It's just a short little rest break that you're taking. And so it is about the quality. And so I want to just share some practical things that I've been able to do so that I can have a quality rest time. But also, when you think about, again, going back to the way our brains have been designed, then, we have two hemispheres. So the left hemisphere takes care of is the analytical side of our brain. So that's where we get our language development from. And that's also where you get this part as far as, numbers and facts and figures. And so that's the whole left analytical brain. But then you also have your right side of your brain, and that really is where the creativity comes from, the right side of us. So those of us who think more right brain, then we tend to be more creative, and being able to think big picture or think visualization. All of that takes place on the right side. So here's the thing: if you find yourself being stuck and you feel like you just can't maybe make the connections, or you're having a hard time seeing what the end results need to look like, or you feel like you're just frustrated, you just can't seem to create your best work, or you can't make things kind of come together, that I think is an indication that, guess what? Your right side of your brain is in need of sleep. You need to rest. So that when you rest, hello Olivia, so that when you rest, then again, it's that creative side of your brain that you are now engaging. And so now when you get up, you are able to think more creatively. You're able to really accomplish things. You're really able to visualize and see the big picture and see the end result and see what you need to do. And so that's important for us to remember, especially as we are designing our lives, that it's important for us to think, okay, God he has designed our brains. And if he wanted us to think with just one hemisphere, he would have given us one hemisphere. But he has given us two hemispheres. We are to be good stewards over the life that he's given us, over the bodies that he's given us. We are to be, this is our temple. And this is where the Holy Spirit dwells. And so if we are going to show up and be our absolute best, it means that we have to take care of this mind that he's given us. Now, again, for me personally, I feel like I've learned this firsthand, and it's part of the reason why I decided, but I also feel like I had to come to that realization that I can't continue to go at this warp speed if I'm going to do all that he's called me to do with the level of proficiency that he's called me to do it. So that means I've got to rest. That means I've got to slow it down. That means I've got to take better care of myself. And also, even when you look, the research is even now saying that Alzheimer's could be actually linked to some of this, so because your brain gets tired, so it's important for us to really think about what we could possibly be doing by not taking the time to rest. So that means we have to simplify. But listen, this whole month we're going to talk about ways to simplify. So even in the Facebook group, I'm going to continue to give you all some tips and some suggestions and just some tricks of the trade, some things that you can do to continue to simplify your life. Because I think that once we start simplifying, scaling back, then it's that much easier for us to rest. So here's another thing to think about too, that the research is also showing that, now one, when you take naps, the people who take naps, remember that whole list of successful people that I just mentioned, then when you do take your naps, then you're likely to be more productive. So guess what that means? You're likely to make more money. So people who are rested, people who take more naps, the research shows that they end up having higher wages. Well, I'm sure that that's because they're able to produce more, and they're able to produce with a level of proficiency. So we can think that we can get around it. We can think that we are immortal. Listen, we are truly remarkable women, but that's not what we mean when we say we're remarkable. So being remarkable really is about being able to be a good steward of your life and understand that you are living your life by design and not default. You're not doing what everybody else does. Everybody else is running and working by the sweat of their brow. Do you realize that Adam and Eve, that was a curse? Working by the sweat of their brow, that was a curse. That was not the blessing. That was not the part of creation that God looked at and said, this is indeed good. This is no very good. It was as a result of their sin. So I think that, again, when we are rested, then we are also able to be redemptive in our work. Because we're able to approach our work with a much better attitude, with a much clearer perspective. Again, think about it. Your right side is where the creativity takes place. So then that means that you're able to even think more, not just appreciatively, but even more creatively about what you have to offer up at work. So when you're collaborating, or you are in your meetings, or you have your presentation, you are able to think so much faster and clearer and in a more focused way. So it's important for us to take a nap. And I wanted to, lay the foundation to say, listen, if Jesus napped, and he could nap in some of the worst circumstances and situations. So if Jesus napped, all the more reasons for us to nap. But if we've seen people in history who were very successful and they habitually took a nap, all the more reason for us to welcome our nap time. Now, I didn't say bedtime, I said nap time. So that means that if we're taking a nap, it really is just this short little interlude where you're able to just stop everything and go to sleep. Allow your mind to just begin to rest. So I want to finish out our time just talking about some practical things. And remember, we're going to be talking about this a lot this month. Because I really do want us to be able to say that when people say, how are you? I don't want us to say, oh my God, oh, I'm so tired. Oh my God, I got so much to do. Ooh, I'm so stressed. Oh, I'm so overwhelmed. So speaking of being stressed, so 2 years ago, I think it's probably about 2 or 3 years ago now, when I remember when I first went to this one particular doctor, that was 3 years ago. And my blood pressure was really high. Can't even remember what it was, but I've always had a very, very good blood pressure reading. And so I was a little surprised because it was high. And she didn't put me on anything, but she noticed that it was really high. And then again, when I came back, it was still high. And then I ended up going to a different doctor. And it was the same. My blood pressure kept increasing. But I knew it was because of the pace that I was living at. I knew it was because of the stress that was in my life that I was voluntarily taking on. Y'all, I don't do stress anymore. I work real hard not to feel stressed about anything. And so again, it's part of the reason why I believe God allowed me to hit that wall where I really could not do anything but rest my mind. And so as a result of it, my blood pressure is back to normal again. And that's been true the last 2 times that I've gone to the doctor. And the only thing I can really attribute it to is the fact that I've slowed my life down. The fact that I rest more, and I rest every single day. I take my nap. So speaking of resting every single day, we're talking, we're kind of doing like a jump start. I call it our restful kickstart to our day. So that means that we're not jumping out of bed and, scurrying and hurrying, but we are getting out of our beds and we are moving into a place of real silence where we practice a time of just meditation. So in the chat box, if you can, real quickly, let me know, are you participating in this? Are you taking advantage of this opportunity to just be silent when you wake up? How's it going? And while you all are trying to put your answers in, I'm going to get my cup of tea. Ooh, Gwen, you did some this morning. Awesome. Well, listen, so keep doing it. Keep doing it. we simply are just trying to say we just want to model Christ in every way that we can. We want to show up. We want to bring beauty into being. We want to live our absolute best, remarkable life every single day. So there's always tomorrow if the Lord should tarry. So, as old folk could say. But anyway, so going back to what are some practical things you can do. So one practical thing you can do is set your timer. Olivia says, we are simply creatures of habit. That's right. And Olivia, you're right. You're absolutely right. We were talking about that earlier, that's part of the reason why we don't take naps is because it's so ingrained in us that only lazy, slowful, unproductive people take naps. Because you got to get it, you got to get it, you got to get it. And if you're a hustler and if you're a grinder, then you have no time. There is no time for rest. That's right. This is about, listen, we are walking in freedom. This is about understanding how God has wired us, how God has made us. He has not made us to work and run at the pace that we work and run at. So, the meditation, yeah, I'm glad you are enjoying that. I'm going to keep that coming. I've gotten some really good feedback from that too. So, y'all, anytime you have some suggestions, I want you to share those suggestions. There's things that's working for you. Let me know. That way I can say, oh yeah, let me make sure that we get more of that. So anyway, so you want to make sure that you set your timer. You decide how much time you have. So here's the thing, y'all. I forgot who it was. I can't think of his name. I'll put it in the box. But he was known for taking like the micro nap. So it was, I think it may have been like 2 minutes. Yes, we have to, it takes time to change your mindset. So it's not the amount of time, it's about the quality of time. So oftentimes when I take a nap, sometimes I will just take a real quick micro nap and it's only like 10 minutes long. So it's 10 minutes for me to put my feet up and shut my eyes. So again, so the first thing you definitely want to do is you want to decide how much time do you feel like you really need. And also, and here's the other thing too, is you may not be, even if you can't, maybe you're at work, but you can't physically go to sleep. Although some jobs I think are starting to really revisit this, probably not in the U.S. yet, but you may not be able to go to sleep, but you can definitely slow your mind down. You can definitely dial some things back and quiet your heart and quiet your mind. And nobody needs to know that's what you're doing. So you want to be able to set your timer how long, but then you also, if you are able to, in a place where you can darken the room, and to have the room dark is really good because that helps to secrete the melatonin, and the melatonin is what we need. And so, and sleep produces melatonin. And so part of the reasons why the blue light impacts us and our ability to sleep is because anytime there's light, then it's going to impact the melatonin. And the brain is not able to secrete the melatonin that it needs. So, again, isn't God so amazingly wise? We have such a masterful creator, designer, and the way he has made our body is just so incredible to me. So if you can darken the room, then darken the rooms. So if you have those blackout drapes, or if you can pull your curtains, or if you have shutters or shades, or if you have your little mask right here. So of course now you can use this for other things too. Okay, y'all know what I'm talking about. So anyway, so you can, but you just want to find a way to quiet everything down, and also try to get rid of light. Then also you might want to find a blanket or a nice throw, or get under the covers if you can. You don't have to get under all of the sheets. Sometimes though, if I'm really tired, then I'll find myself, I will actually get back in bed and I will put all of the covers, the sheet and the blanket on me, you know, just because I tend to need the extra weight. Anybody else, can anybody else relate to that? And I'm like that even in the summertime. I've got to have something over me, and it's just because I just need that extra weight. Another thing too is, I want y'all to see my little basket. This is my basket of goodies that I keep this in my closet. Nice little comfortable socks. So I'm always in search of really nice cozy socks, and so I just found these. I don't remember where I found them, but you see how nice and soft they are. But again, so that way you can just put these on your feet. So when you put your feet up, oh yes, it is like a cocoon, right, Olivia? It is. It's just like a cocoon. So you just feel, you know, I guess it's also like swaddling, you know. Maybe that's how we swaddle as adults. Another thing too is a nice candle. I don't know if you all know that I love pouring candles. So, but sometimes, now that I think about it, sometimes you want to be careful with the candle when you're sleeping. I actually use my candle more for my meditation time than I do my sleeping time. But what I do use for sleeping is my essential oils. I am such a huge fan of lavender. As a matter of fact, y'all, I'm so excited. I just placed an order for some. I found some really, really great. And I had heard of this line, doTERRA. And are you all familiar with it? But I just got some new essential oils. And these are great because you can use them on your skin, so they're topical. You can use them in the air, so with your diffusers. And you can also ingest them. So you can use them in your foods and your smoothies. And so I'm so excited because I'm looking forward to putting them in my tea. But they have so many great medicinal benefits to it. Also, y'all, I got this actually from Home Goods, I think. Either Home Goods or Ross. But this is a lavender spray, a linen spray. So again, just to be able to spray, get my sheets and my towels. And again, so that you love lavender too. Lavender is it's one of those oils that really helps you to really relax. And of course, you all, hey Terry, of course, our tea. So, but you want to be careful with your tea. You don't want to have a black tea. You want to have maybe a rooibos. You can do a fruit tea, an herbal tea, like a chamomile, something, even teas with lavender, that's going to help you to actually sleep, because that really is the goal. And then you also want to train your mind. Listen, y'all, we are, God has given us the command to rule and subdue, because that was the command that he gave to Adam and Eve. So in your style inspiration, I talked about this a little bit. I mentioned how we are designers of our domain. So we're in control over the life that he's given us, right? Now, and so that means that we can take control of our minds. So that's part of getting up in the morning and easing into our day with a time of silence, because we are learning how to buffet our mind. We are learning how to take control of our thoughts. We're learning how to take thoughts captive. We're learning how to really rule and subdue our mind, so that way we don't have all of these racing thoughts and that causes us to be impulsive and causes us to not have the energy or maybe the clarity that we actually need to have. And for me, that has been so beneficial for me to be able to do that. So one of the best ways to do that is to begin to listen for the white noise, and also work and use your imagination. So put in the chat boxes, if you can, what's a favorite place for you to go? If you could go one place, where would you like to go? Put it in the chat box. Listen, after the cruise, I'm going on a cruise every year, so I can tell y'all that I am hooked. So where would you like to go? If money were not an issue, where would you like to go? Oh, I want to go to Martha's Vineyard too, Olivia. Maybe we should plan a girlfriend's trip. A remarkable woman's trip. Y'all, do you realize that's actually one of my visions is for us to plan a trip, like a real big, trip, do an event on like Paris. Yes. Terry, what about you? Where would you like to go? Oh, we for Paris. Paris. So, you know what? Terry is watching, but she might not be in a place where she can join us. Huh. Terry says maybe. So, how about this? Listen, do you realize that you could go to Paris, the Amalfi Coast? Ooh, I'm gonna have to look that up. You can go to Paris, you can go to the Caribbean, you can go to Martha's Vineyard, and oh, Terry, a monastery would be amazing. It would be. Do you know that there is um, I forgot what it's called. It's there's one over in Durham, and I used to go a villa. Yeah, it's over. I don't know if you all are familiar with it, but it's over in Durham. I used to go there for just like my prayer days, and I would just go by myself. I'd get a room and spend the night, and oh, it is very, very beautiful, and it's so quiet. It's y'all. How about this? Hmm. Okay, I'm gonna. Hi, Dorothy. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna plan a trip for one of like the Avila, and there's another one. I have to ask Musette. There's another one. So I'm gonna plan a trip where we can just go and have like an extended time of silence and just a time of prayer, and you can come together for your meals. I think that would be wonderful. But at any rate, so we can go to all of these places. It doesn't have to cost, and it won't cost us anything. Best of all, we don't have to pack any clothes. You can do that in your nap time. So Jess, I want you to try this tomorrow. That place that you mentioned, I want you to take yourself there. Dorothy's on board for that trip too. I want you to take yourself there. I want you to go there. I want you to go there in your mind. I want you to feel it. I want you to hear the sounds. I want you to imagine the smells. What does it smell like? And allow your mind to take you there. And as you are doing that and allowing your mind to take that um, restful visit to this destination place, then it's going to ease you into your nap. And every time you get this random thought, like, what are you going to fix for dinner? Take yourself back on your trip. Or, oh my gosh, I forgot. I need to wash some more bras, whatever. Take yourself back on your trip. Remember, if Jesus could rest on the boat in the midst of a storm, all the more reason for us to rest. All the more reason for us to condition ourselves to learn how to take a nap. And then he got up. What did he say to the storm? He commanded the storm to be still. So when we find ourselves unable to rest, that's also a good time for us to pray, to talk to God. And one of the things I absolutely enjoy doing is using the alphabet. I love alphabet prayers where I will go through the alphabet and I will think of an attribute of God based on that letter of the alphabet. And sometimes I'll do that And that will just take me to this place of calmness, and I'm able to take my nap. Ooh, are y'all feeling sleepy? Because I know I'm feeling sleepy based on all that we just talked about. I'm about to put my little furry socks on. As y'all can tell, look, I got lots of different colors. So I even got a black pair, but I keep all of this in my little, this is my nap and meditation basket. It's like my little sabbatical basket. So that's what I want to encourage you all to do. Find a basket that you can throw your stuff in, and designate this for your sabbatical. Designate this for your rest time and your nap time. Does that make sense? So I want to hear how this has helped you. I want to know how you are able to be far more productive as a result of your taking your nap. So I'm going to be asking questions. So in the chat box, tell me who's ready to start taking more naps. Who's convinced that naps are really God's gift to us? Who's ready to start taking a nap tomorrow? By God's grace. Remember, it's not about the quantity. It's about the quality. Oh, I love it. Dorothy says, Terry says, Gwen says, I am. Terry says, me by God's grace. And Dorothy says, I am. I'm definitely going to build this into my daily schedule so she can recharge. And that's exactly what it does. It allows you to really recharge. Olivia says she's going to start. Certainly something new for her. And you can do it. It is God's gift. And you need to execute. Yeah, it's time for us to activate, y'all. And I guarantee you all, I'm far more creative when I rest. And that's part of the reason why I've been determined to get back to the creative side of who I am, you know? And resting helps me to do that. Y'all, I have missed my Facebook Live times with you all. This has been so wonderful to connect with you this way. Hey, listen, y'all. Put the 31st on your calendar. I'm still confirming this. I think it's going to be at the first flight. We're going to talk about decluttering your mind. That's going to be the tea time and conversation topic. I got really wise about this last one and realized there was no way I could really pull it off, not coming off of the cruise. And I'm glad that I listened to, God brought some hiccups and used that as a reminder that I didn't need to push through it. And I'm glad because I would not have been able to, I wouldn't have been at my best. So speaking of being at your best, y'all, let's go for it. But let's do it with grace and ease. Let's show people what it looks like when a remarkable woman shows up, because we're going to be rested. And we are living our lives by design and not default. And as a result, we are making remarkable things happen. So, okay. I'm trying to read Dorothy's comment. She says, you will have Facebook Live for the one, for that, for one for me so I can be present in the moment. Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Y'all know sometimes it's hard for me to read my screen. So thank you for those of you who know me, um, realizing that that's my little dyslexia trying to keep in. Oh, yeah, that's right, for the 31st. So we'll be posting that, and we're going to create a Facebook Live. We're going to create a page as well. So again, enjoy your evening. Don't forget to rest well. And by the way, speaking of resting well, I have now made a commitment to start dialing things back at 9 p.m. so that I'm in bed at 10 so I can get up at 5. So I don't have much time. So I'm going to finish my tea, and it's been amazing connecting with you all. So be blessed. Continue to make remarkable things happen, but do it with grace and ease.
Love you.